Oh, there you are. Sorry, I was looking for the new 5D Earth. And you know what? I think I found it. I think I found it within each and every one of you. Right there. Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome back to another really incredible live video. Today, I am going to be releasing so much explosive information for all of you. I've been trying to really kind of find an appropriate place with an epic background where I am. And I know that my face is going to be pretty dark, but at least you've got this instead of, ugly blinds behind me. All right. Today we're talking about the 3D, 5D planetary new paradigm system, and it's going to be freaking epic. All right, it is epic. It is epic right now. So I'll kind of go over a list of things that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about the Galactic Federation and what they relayed to me back in 2016 about the collapse of the old Earth paradigm. I'm going to be talking about the 3D world and what exactly that is. What's the definition of this old Earth paradigm? Then I'm going to be describing and defining the 5D Earth paradigm. What is this new Earth that we're all entering into? I also want to talk about what the Galactic Federation wants all of you to know about what's going on right now. We're clearly having a collapse of our old systems and our old paradigms, not only individually, but collectively. So what does that mean for each and every one of you? What does the Galactic Federation want you to know? And then I really wanted to make this more tangible because when we're talking about third dimension, fifth dimension, new Earth paradigm, we can really get caught up in the verbiage of that. So I want to kind of end the live video with how is everything that's happening going to tangibly affect your life once it's all over. Once we're fully, officially hopped in to the fifth dimension frequency paradigm, what does that mean for you? What is life really going to look like for all of you? Okay? So much incredible information today. I want to let you all know that I have been channeling the 3D versus 5D Earth paradigm for an extremely long time, pretty much since the beginning of my huge awakening and expansion. And I really do believe that this information that I'm going to release to all of you today is really a huge part of my purpose. And that's why I'm so freaking fascinated with quantum physics and quantum mechanics, is because it really covers all of this, right? New realities, new timelines, dimensional hopping, all of that great stuff. All right. Okay, before I begin and get into it, I want to ask all of you, first of all, where are you from in the world? I always love knowing that. And how are you guys feeling, especially since the meditation? I want to tell you that since the meditation on Saturday, I believe, I slept. I had probably a 3-hour nap in the middle of the day on Sunday. And I don't know if I felt like I needed to anchor in the new energy or if it was just, I don't know what it was, like an integration. But I was really tired on Sunday. I'm feeling really great today. So I want to know, how are you guys feeling and where are you from in the world? And I also want to say too, thank you so much, Sasha, for that incredible super chat. Obviously, guys, super chats are always super appreciated. So are all of your donations. But mostly, I just want to get this information out there. So the biggest thing that you can do to help the collective awakening is subscribe to the channel and share this video, especially this one. This is one that everyone needs to know right now, that there is a shift that's happening and it's affecting each and every one of you. Let's see, we've got Ohio, we've got Iowa, Minneapolis, California, Japan, hello, Aussie, what's up? What else? Sudbury, Ontario, nice, Belgium, Norway, fantastic, North California, fantastic, Israel, hello, California, Rhode Island, Slovakia, Maine, awesome guys, very cool. And how are you feeling? How have you been feeling since the mass meditation? I really want to know. Estonia, awesome. Manitoba, great. Some Canadians in the house. Hi, Lauren. I know where you're from. Feeling tired. Oh yeah, and then the full moon. The full moon is happening tomorrow as well. It's a full pink moon. If you guys follow me on Instagram, I'm going to be doing some really incredible shots, like photos of it. Of course, it never does it justice, but I'm in a perfect place to have those photos. Tired. Okay, so a lot of other people feeling tired as well. Feeling lazy today. Yeah, Denmark feeling calm, good. Frequency shift patterns. Yeah. San Diego, woke up on top of the world. Awesome. Feeling emotional. Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's just kind of dive right into it. First thing I want to say is everything that I'm going to talk about in this video has been channeled. I do not do any external research. A lot of people tell me that the information that I receive is very similar to Dolores Cannon, I believe. I think she's the other one who really talks about 3D versus 5D splitting. I'm sure we're getting our information from the same source, which is amazing, and I love that validation. So I just want to say everything in this video is channeled. I also want to say too, I want to talk about a lot of things, but I don't have enough time to talk about everything I want to. Oh, thank you so much, Bob, for that super chat. That's great. 444, anchoring in those frequencies. Okay, so I will not be talking about the fourth dimension, even though that is important, but it's not super important. It's funny because I wrote down, I don't have time to talk about the fourth dimension, and it's kind of a, you know, a quantum physics pun because the fourth dimension is time. Anyway, it's just a funny, nerdy thing that I was laughing at myself for. The other thing I won't be talking about today is Schumann resonance, okay? I really want to talk about it. It's definitely a big part of all of this, but I don't have time to talk about it today. We're going to be specifically talking about 3D Earth versus 5D Earth and this new ascension paradigm. Okay, cool. Awesome. One more thing, just one more announcement, which is I'm going to be doing a Galactic Federation update video. I have to go over or go through personally around 200 of your questions for the Galactic Federation. I'm going to probably pull 5 to 10 of those questions that I feel most resonate with me and for the collective. And I'm going to be asking the Galactic Federation. I'm going to be channeling the same way that I did before, and I'm going to be writing it down and relaying the information next Monday. So if you want an update about where the Galactic Federation is at and what they have to say about the changing times, tune in next Monday, same time, 5:55. Okay, let's dive into it. Let's get into it. All right, I'm so excited. This is like my favorite concept ever to talk about. All right, so some of you know that I had my very first Galactic Federation meeting back in 2012 when it was in the center of the moon. It was really awesome. They told me all about these concepts, the 3 days and 3 nights of darkness, the 144,000. Oh my goodness, Perry. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. That's an incredible super chat. Thank you. And Super Smitty, thank you guys. I feel so much love today. So they kind of explained a lot of things back in 2012, and they told all of us, it wasn't just me in the meeting, it was hundreds of thousands of beings from all over the galaxy and this planet. They also told us to get prepared, right? We're getting prepared for a huge shift, but they didn't really tell us what that shift was. Then in 2016, I really pressed the Galactic Federation. Like I've been in contact with them every month since 2012, right? So I really pressed them in 2016. I had answers, or I had questions that they just wouldn't answer. And finally in 2016, they gave me a lot of those answers. And guys, please, you know, this may correlate with some research, or it may correlate with your soul's vibration, or it may not. So take it or leave it, guys, okay? This is not the ultimate truth. This is just one perspective. I really need to say this because it could be triggering. What the Galactic Federation and the Palladian Security Council told me in 2016 was that there indeed was a collapse of our old frequency, our old reality in 2012. Remember the whole Mayan calendar, 26,000 year cycle, the end of the planet? We were all kind of, you know, the awakened ones were kind of preparing for this end. What they told me in 2016 was that our old planetary system did indeed die, okay? It collapsed. They actually told me that CERN and the Hadron Collider was responsible for this reality collapse. I asked them why they didn't stop the collapse of the current reality, and they told me that it was all a part of the predestined contracts and the prophecy of planet Earth. So I want to just explain something to you, which is what they explained to me in 2016. Like I said, take it or leave it. They told me that our planet, just think about one planet as being one reality, okay? On this planet in 2012, there was a polarity frequency that was happening. There was light, high vibration, and low vibration simultaneously existing on the planet in 2012, okay? When this current reality collapsed in 2012, we immediately hopped into, very seamlessly, the next parallel reality, okay? That's what they told me happened. Our one complete reality collapsed, and we hopped into the very next parallel reality. Now, what they told me was because the energies and vibrations were so polarized on the planet, we didn't collectively just hop into a one new parallel reality. We actually hopped into two very different simultaneous realities. They told me that the splitting of the Earth between 3D and 5D happened back in 2012. Right? Crazy stuff, right? I mean, I didn't know any of this when they told me, like, what? Two Earths? Like, I didn't really understand. And so now I understand that we still have one planet, one physical planet, but we have two different vibrational frequencies coexisting in the same space on this planet. It is not 3D or 5D in a linear sense. We need to think about it as 3D, 5D on top of each other, okay? It's happening simultaneously. That's why we have this phenomenon called the Mandela effect. They explained the Mandela effect to me, and if you've seen my Mandela effect videos, please go watch them because they explain way more about what they told me back then. So ever since 2012, we as individuals and as a collective, but mostly the collective's been in the 3D, but we as individuals have been hopping back and forth between an old frequency reality, the third dimension frequency, and the fifth dimension frequency. Like I said, I'm not going to deep dive into what the fourth dimension is, but it does exist and it is important, but not necessarily important for this conversation right here, okay? Ever since 2012, we've been hopping back and forth. That's why you've probably felt like you're a little bit bipolar since 2012, because you'll have days where you're just on top of the world, you're feeling great, cosmic euphoria, things are awesome, and then simultaneously the very next moment or the very next day, right, you're going to feel super depressed, super low, super, claustrophobic, right, by the frequencies of the planet, all right? Thank you, Bronwyn, for that super chat. So that's kind of what they told me. 2012, collapse of an old reality. What they also told me in 2012 was that anyone who did not hop over, this is really scary actually, and I was freaked out when they told me this. They said in 2012, they told me and they told us during this meeting, oh, thank you so much for that beautiful super chat. Pavertha, I think that's how you say your name. But anyway, yeah, so they told me back then that people who were not ready to raise their vibrational frequency and hop into this new paradigm were actually going to get left behind. And I thought to myself back in 2012, I'm like, so all my family members, all my friends, everyone I'm in university with, no one knows the truth. No one's, waking up. Like no one has any idea what's really going on. They're all completely absorbed into the third dimension frequency. So when they told me back in 2012 that if you don't switch over to the new paradigm, you're going to get left behind, I basically figured, okay, great. So I'm going to be the only one in this new paradigm. Like I was really kind of worried about that. Now, I'm thinking, great, all my friends, all my family members, pretty much all of you guys, we're all hopping into this new paradigm reality. So super interesting. So back in 2016, they finally kind of validated all this information to me about the splitting of the frequencies, 3D versus 5D, and they said that it comes down to a matter of choice, okay? So hopping in from 3D to 5D, and I'm going to explain what that means, it comes down to a matter of choice. And the choice is in between love or fear. That's it, right? Don't get caught up in the paradigm of, is this guy a good guy or a bad guy? Should I believe in this or this? Scrape all of that projection bullshit away and just think to yourself, am I making this action? Am I taking this action in the frequency of love or the frequency of fear? And fear doesn't mean that you're scared of something. Fear means judgment, attachment, obligation, and on and on and on. That's the frequency of fear, okay? And love is, oneness, unity, service to others, authenticity, those kind of things, okay? Once again, realize that it really comes down to a choice of love or fear. Now, one more thing I want to mention about that as well. We've all been working really diligently, really hard on purging out our old frequencies in order to move to that level. You can't just say, great, I'm all love and light right now. Like someone mentioned, baggage. You need to let go of a lot of baggage that has been holding you back, right? That obligation, that fear, that attachment, those old emotions, that trauma from your past, right? We have to transmute that. That's why most of you have been on your journey, your spiritual journey, especially since 2016. Anyone else have a huge collapse of your reality between 2016 and 2019? That's because you've been prepared for this moment right here, this new 5D paradigm. You have been prepared because you're a light worker, you're a teacher, you are a piece of this collective unity 5D puzzle. That's why you're here right now watching this video, is because you've already ascended to that place. But one thing I want to mention, don't feel bad if you're not always in the 5th dimension with love and light all the time. That's okay. Right now, this 1% of us who is hopping and ascending to the 5th dimension frequency, we are up against the entire world, 8 billion people who are scared shitless right now, right? So don't feel bad if you have, your 5D days and your 3D days. That's completely okay. All right? Okay, good. Something else that the Galactic Federation told me in 2016 is that there is going to be massive amounts of death when this happens, when this takes place. And I was worried about that, right? So they told me, and I've said this before, it's a split, but I would say it's probably more like a 60-40 split. 60% of the people who are meant to pass away are not able to ascend themselves to the 5th dimension paradigm, this new earth paradigm. They're not able to support the vibrational frequency of the new earth. So they're choosing, yes, they are choosing exit points right now at this time. The other 40%, maybe even 30% of individuals who are passing away are actually the most incredibly powerful light workers who are choosing to take exit points in order to do the work in the astral realm. And that's okay too. And I call those individuals earth angels. So it's so powerful, okay? So be aware that, this has been predicted for a very long time that there's going to be a massive amount of death. Now, back then, I thought that maybe it was going to be like environmental, and I also thought that maybe it was going to be like war, right? Some sort of war that breaks out that's going to, incur this mass amounts of death. Now, obviously, I understand that this coronavirus is definitely a part of it. Okay, cool. So the biggest thing that all of you can do to prepare for this 5D new earth paradigm is seriously let go of your old internal paradigms. So the more you go inward, the more you work on yourself, the more you're actually helping the collective, right? And you can help the collective and you can do some grid working and some healing and you can talk to Mother Gaia and put your crystals back into the earth, and that's all great too. But essentially, it's really important that you just work on your own shit. If you've got baggage and yet you're trying to help the planetary system evolve, then you're actually not helping at all, okay? Go within yourself, raise your vibrational frequency, and that's gonna really help the entire planet ascend, okay? So prepare for 5D by waking up and letting go and collapsing your old 3D paradigm. Most of you have already done that work. Congratulations, you're here. Now you're ready to ascend. You have to deal with the old paradigm before you move on to the new one. Okay, the other thing too is, once again, please be responsible and aware of the choices that you're making in every single moment. It is only ever between love or fear. Don't get caught up in the illusion of the polarity on this reality. Because when you get caught up in the left or the right or the good or the bad or the blue or the red or whatever side you're trying to choose, you're getting caught up in the linear, limited reality of the third dimension density. Don't choose sides, okay? Don't. And be okay with experiencing both fear and love, but transmute the fear through appreciation of having that fear and understanding that it's allowing you to ascend, okay? Hopefully that all makes sense. Let's just kind of define the 3D world versus the 5D world, okay? Back in 2016, they told me to call it old Earth and new Earth. Like I said right now, both old Earth, 3D Earth, and new Earth, 5D Earth, are actually simultaneously coexisting. And if you are attuned enough and aware enough and intuitive enough, you'll be able to walk around the streets and literally see people, what paradigm are they in? What reality are they in, right? And you can very easily see third dimension, fifth dimension. Before I get into the definition of 3D versus 5D, I want to tell you a really cool example. And I've mentioned this before just because it's a profound example of the third dimension versus the fifth dimension. But I want to give you a very tangible example of this. Years ago, and it was probably in 2016, I had a really beautiful friend and client of mine, client, I guess, first and then friend. And so she called me up the one day and she says, Elizabeth, something really amazing happened. And I said, what is it? And she says, my husband, who's like really stubborn and he's really stuck in his old paradigm and he doesn't really get the fact that I believe in aliens and spirituality. You know him? I'm like, oh yeah, I know him. And then she's like, well, last night, me and my husband had an incredible conversation and we talked about, emotions and attachments and, traumas from the past, and we really got in deep and we had this beautiful 3 or 4 hour conversation instead of melding our mind and watching TV at night. And I'm like, that's amazing, I'm so happy for you. And then she's like, yeah, but then we went to bed and we woke up together in the morning and we drove to the grocery store together. And she said, I turned to him and I said, hey, what an amazing conversation we had last night, I'm so happy we talked about everything. And he turns to her and he says, what do you mean talked about everything? We just watched TV. Don't you remember the show that we watched last night? He had no recollection whatsoever of the conversation that they had. And so when she told me this, she's like, what really happened, right? What went on? Why can't he remember? And when I tapped into it, it turned out that when they had the conversation the night before, they were both in the fifth dimension frequency. Beautiful, authentic, connected conversation. When they went to bed, she remained in the fifth dimension frequency when she woke up, which meant that she remembered everything that happened in the fifth dimension frequency the night before. He woke up in his typical traditional third dimension frequency, which means that reality of what happened the night before never even existed for him. Right? This is so crazy. Hashtag Mandela effect, right? This is what it is. We're literally just hopping in and out of different parallel realities. And there are different choices that we are making in every single one of them, okay? So be aware that this is tangibly affecting your life. All right, super cool stuff, super cool stuff. Yes, so good. So I'm just gonna riff off a definition of the third dimension, and I'm gonna riff off a definition of the fifth dimension. Not really in definition terms, just a bunch of words that I wanted to put together so that you guys really understand what the difference is between 3D and 5D, or old Earth and new Earth, okay? So 3D Earth, third dimension frequency world, the old Earth. These are just words that came to me. Linear, right? Point A to point B. This is the old planet. Classical physics, right? The old Earth represents classical physics. Both space and time exist very linearly in this third dimension plane. Very masculine energy, right? In 3D world. It's black or white. It's either one or the other. Also 3D Earth, lack, limited, fear, control, 1% versus the 99%. That's just kind of some words that came to me when thinking about the third dimension frequency. Let's talk about the fifth dimension Earth, right? Fifth dimension frequency. The number one word, well, actually the number two words, top two words that I would associate with the fifth dimension Earth or 5D frequency, okay, the new Earth paradigm that we're ascending into, is quantum and simultaneous. We need to realize that in this new paradigm, everything is coexisting in a state of superposition all at the same time. That's why it's a little bit intangible to really wrap your head around what is the fifth dimension? What happens? What goes on in the fifth dimension? You're still gonna have a body, but instead of being a physical body or a light body in the fifth dimension frequency, in that quantum simultaneous world, you get to be both simultaneously. Instead of fear and love, or fear or love, I should say, in the old paradigm, it's fear and love. You can experience both extremes, both polarities simultaneously, and that allows you to have the option of choice. It gives you choice. You're able to choose which paradigm you want to be in when you're in a quantum state, because you can see all the options objectively, right? You're not playing the game of one or the other. And this is a super important concept. When you think about the fifth dimension frequency, think simultaneous. Everything is happening simultaneously. Time. Anyone else experiencing weird ass time lately? I know I am, right? In LA, time is just so fast, right? Time moves so fast for me. Out here in the expansive desert in Joshua Tree, I swear one day feels like a whole week. In the quantum world, in the fifth dimension frequency, time is not linear. It's not the past, the present, and the future. It is the past, the present, and the future. It's stacked on top of each other. It is not one or the other or the other. Does that make sense? I really want you to associate, when I say quantum, I mean simultaneous. I mean everything all at once. And the more you try and understand the quantum world from a linear perspective, the more you're going to get lost, okay? What else? Other words, freedom. Freedom, freedom, freedom. So much freedom in the fifth dimension frequency. You're going to have the freedom to choose what energy you want to dabble in, what reality you want to be in, okay? You have absolute freedom in the fifth dimension Earth, this new Earth. Other words that I associated with it, limitless, equality, quantum physics, not classical physics, oneness, and divine feminine, right? And technically saying that 3D Earth is divine masculine and 5D Earth is divine feminine would also be too polarizing. Essentially, 5D Earth would be the combination of masculine and feminine simultaneously. In that way, each and every one of us are being pushed to actually harmonize our frequencies internally to have both feminine and masculine qualities. That's where you find a lot of very high vibrational beings and star seeds and cosmic souls who are maybe a female, but they have a very masculine energy, or maybe they're a male and they have a very divine feminine energy. That's where we're going to, right? That's why all these kids these days are either feeling very fluid, or I don't even know, gay is not the right word. I like the word fluid. You know what I just thought of? I'm like, how cool would it be if a giant UFO just appeared in my background? Like, that would be so amazing. I'm just gonna put it out there to my guides, so just make sure you're paying attention back there. All right, cool. I'm just gonna take a breath. This is a lot of information, but I'm so excited about it. Okay. So let's move on to something a little bit more tangible. Let's talk about what exactly the Galactic Federation wants all of you to know about this new paradigm, right? So like I tuned into them today and I said, you know, if I'm giving this message to people, what should people know right now regarding this new Earth paradigm? Yeah, What do they need? What do people need to know? That's what I said. Because it's a lot of information, but it's like, okay, cool, I get it, but now what? You know, what do you do with it, right? Okay, cool. This is what they said. Just a couple of points. Yes. The first thing that they mentioned, and this sentence keeps coming up over and over and over again for me, and they keep saying, we are currently on the ascension timeline. The Galactic Federation wants each and every one of you to know that we are all currently on the ascension timeline. Okay? So please keep that in mind. We're not trying to reach the fifth dimension. We're not trying to reach ascension. We're not trying to raise our vibration. We're doing it right now. Okay? So first of all, we are currently on the ascension timeline. Secondly, oh yeah, this is really important. Okay. So just like all of you have been working, hopefully working on yourself in the past couple of years, so between 2016 and 2019, there should have been, hopefully, some sort of collapse, okay, in your own reality, in your own life. So that could be your job, that could be your family, that could be your partner, that could be your, you know, your belief system, whatever it may be. But hopefully there was some sort of collapse in your physical reality between 2016 and 2019, okay? So we've all worked on our own internal collapse, and I'm sure that you're probably still working. Some of you are still working on that. Actually, everyone's kind of being forced to collapse their current reality right now, which is really exciting and kind of scary too, right? So what the Galactic Federation's second point that they want to make is there is going to be a collapse of the third dimension Earth, the old frequency between 2020 and 2024. Okay, I need to make this very clear. Between 2020 and 2024 is not the new paradigm. It is the collapse of the old paradigm. We are not going to see a new collective paradigm until after 2024. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of things shift. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of things move. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of things change, but we're not going to actually begin to step into a new paradigm until, like I said before, we need to collapse the old paradigm. We're doing this at a collective level. We're collapsing the third dimension frequency, the third dimension old Earth, okay? So, believe it or not, this is just the beginning of the collapse. Believe it or not. After this whole coronavirus stuff, okay, I mean, it's not over, it's just beginning, all right? So I just want to say that that means things like environmental disasters are going to really ramp up. You know, I don't really see anything as major as, say, what's going on right now taking place in the next 4 years, but I'm going to say that there's still going to be a lot of shifting, a lot of collapse, a lot of like corruption collapsing, a lot of political collapsing, a lot of religious, educational, a lot of declassified documents, and we're going to talk about all of that too in just a couple minutes. Okay, the other thing that the Galactic Federation wanted to mention too is that there are going to be mass amounts of death on the planet. Yes, there are. But like I said, all of those deaths, every single one of them are predestined and contracted by the individual who is choosing the exit point. I cannot stress this enough. The people who are passing away in the next 4 years are contracted to do so because they cannot uphold the new vibration of the planet, or they're so high vibrational that their work is done on the planet and they're ready to move on. Okay, and do work elsewhere. Okay, super important. It is going to get worse though. The death is going to get worse on the planet because we're doing a mass collapse. We're doing a mass purging. The Mother Gaia is doing that. I also want to mention too, at an individual level, there's going to be a hugely mass awakening happening between 2020 and 2024. So at a physical global level, we are going to collapse all of the systems that hopefully all of you have collapsed in your own individual life. Now you're ready for a huge mass awakening. And whether obviously you guys are all awakened already. I mean, you're waking up, you're here, you're watching this video, which is incredible. But I'm telling you, psychic gifts, astral traveling, lucid dreaming, empathic abilities, instantaneous healing, spontaneous manifestation. You guys, it's all coming to you. It's coming to you as an individual because you've done your work. It's not coming to other people like your friends or your family member who are still stuck in the third dimension. They have to go through an ego death. They have to collapse their old paradigm reality to get to where you are right now. And I don't want to say that there's still work to be done, but I want to say that all of you are going to be super psychic. And I'm sure that by the end of 2024, you're all going to be doing all the stuff that I'm doing. You're not going to need me to talk to the Galactic Federation because you're already there. Yay! You know, exciting times, all right? So there's going to be a mass collapse physically of the third dimension old Earth between 2020 and 2024. There's going to be a mass ascension, mass energetic awakening at an individual level for those who have collapsed their old paradigm reality between 2020 and 2024. All right? Mark my words, guys. This is so important. Yeah, and then the last thing that the Galactic Federation wants all of you to know right now is that you have to be making conscious choices in every single moment, and you have to ask yourself, it's not about the choice itself, it's about the vibration behind the choice. Are you making that choice with the vibration of love, or are you making that choice with the vibration of fear? It's up to you. It's up to you to choose. So please choose wisely. When you're making choices out of obligation, when you're making choices out of judgment, when you're making choices out of attachment, you know, like as silly as, oh man, my mom's calling and I have to pick up the phone because I'm obligated to do so. Stop. Literally don't do that. Okay, you're disempowering yourself and you're making a choice in a low vibration, third dimension Earth. You're not helping the collective by doing that. Empower yourself in this new vibration. Okay, please be aware of the choices that you're making. Yay. Awesome. All right, so let's get to the last kind of part of this video. Hi, Corinne. Thank you so much for that super chat. As always, I hope all of you are really resonating with this information. Like I said, I have received this information way back in 2012, and I've been so excited to share this and actually have an audience to share it with. So please, if you're going to do society justice or this collective consciousness, you know, some good vibes, and please share this video, whether it be on Instagram or YouTube or, you know, Twitter or Twitch or whatever, you know, platform, TikTok, I don't know, that you use, but please share the video because people need to know that this is happening, and they also kind of need to know the lingo too. I think saying 3D versus 5D kind of frightens people a little bit. They're like, what do you mean a dimension? What do you mean the fifth dimension? What does that mean? Right? So that can be very difficult for people. So people need to know that it's not that scary. It's just old versus new. All right, cool. All right, let's get into, yeah, so I also wanted to ask, thank you guys so much once again for the super chats. You guys are great. How will all of this shifting, the 3D versus 5D, how will this tangibly affect our lives? I really wanted to know, right? Like, what is that going to look like? What is that really going to look like after 2024? What kind of reality, what kind of world are we facing? You know, are we still going to have kids? Are we still going to have free will? Are we still going to have, you know, or is it going to be one mind? Like, what does that really look like? These are all going to be things that I'm going to mention that are a potential, and I want to really emphasize that word. These are things that we could potentially experience after 2024. Okay, they're a potential. So just keep in mind that when it comes down to the future stuff, I'm only taking a look at the potential realities. Nothing is ever set in stone because it's really up to all of us as a collective mind, as a collective consciousness, to create this reality. And doing that mass meditation was a really great start in bringing all of our potential, you know, our collective conscious minds together. Okay, cool. Yeah, so please, you know, just grain of salt with all of this. Okay, grain of salt. But this is what has been coming to me. Every single system on the planet as we know it is changing. The biggest change that I believe we're going to see in the next 4 years is the financial system. I believe that right now, as we're talking, the whole financial system is changing and collapsing, and I think we're going to all go back to a gold standard. I also believe that we may go back to, or we may actually transcend to a one world currency. Now, I know that there's a lot of fear about the shadow government and the cabal, that they want to create this one world currency or this one, you know, new world order, I think they call it, and that's a part of it. But it's funny because a lot of the truth is actually projected as, you know, as like evil. I don't know how else to say that. But trust me, the cabal is being taken down right now, especially those damn reptilian shapeshifters. They're all being taken off the planet. I know this as a fact. And so we don't have to worry about this new world order anymore, especially after everything that's happening right now. The biggest change I think we're going to see is the financial system. We're also going to see a huge change. Oh, thank you so much, Agnita. Oh, that's awesome. We're also going to see a huge change in the education system, but that's going to take a lot longer. Okay, that's probably going to take about 4 years to roll out into a new education system. That's okay, but we are changing that. It's a very difficult system to change on a global level. Also, I want to say too, there's a really good potential for something called free energy. I don't know if any of you have ever heard about free energy or Tesla technology. This has really been climbing the ranks in the past couple of years. And I really do believe that if we experience a total blackout, or we experience a solar flare, or we experience, something along those lines, we're actually going to transition over to free energy technology. I truly believe that we used to have free energy technology back in ancient Atlantis, ancient Lemuria. I've astral traveled back there. I've seen it for myself. I also believe we've had free energy technology and Tesla technology, as it's commonly referred to as, back in ancient Egypt as well. And that's what the pyramids were made for. So I believe that that's a really good potential in the next 4 years. Okay, I really hope that that's a potential. No, I know it's a potential, but I really hope that that's the case in the next 4 years. Also, I want to mention too that there's going to be a mass amount of solutions for environmental resources. So I'm talking about like renewable resources, but at a whole new level, okay? There's a ton of technology that is about to be released that is going to clean up the planet and really help Mother Gaia. And I believe that that's going to be released in the next 4 years, okay? So we're going to see new solutions for environmental resources. And I believe that things like, trees and wood from lumber, all the people, and I think it was Lincoln who actually had his stocks or his, I don't know what it was called, but he was invested in the lumber industry. And so, we've been deforesting the planet for no reason whatsoever. And we don't actually realize that growing a bunch of hemp would give us far more, wood and paper and whatever it is we need from lumber than burning down and cutting down trees. Okay, so there's already solutions out there. We just haven't implemented them because of all of the lobbying and the interests at the corporate, global, and stock level, okay, and financial level. So new solutions for environmental resources. The other thing too is we're cleaning out the political system. We all know that for quite some time, politics has been completely corrupted for a very long time, okay? So we're absolutely cleaning out the political system. I've been working on this for a very long time actually, and taking down the reptilian bases, taking down the reptilian shapeshifters, basically trying to kick the reptilian shapeshifters, the bad ones, right, the low vibrational ones, off this planet. And I've been doing that since 2012 as well with the Galactic Federation. It's now all finally coming to a head. We're cleaning up politics. We're cleaning up the celebrities. We're cleaning up the mass media influences. We're cleaning up all of these 1%ers, and we're cleaning up the reptilian shapeshifters who have been in control for a very long time. They are, by 2024, I think every single one of them is going to be off this planet. Right now, they're still fighting for control. I'll tell you that right now. They are fighting tooth and nail really hard. That's why we still see chemtrails in the air, because they still have this attachment to control, and there are still some of them that are in control right now. Okay. The other thing that we're going to see as well is a massive shift in healthcare. Okay, so we're going to see a massive shift in healthcare and how healthcare is given, and what that looks like. And a big part of that is actually going to be 3D printing. We are going to be able to 3D print a new heart. We're going to be able to 3D print a new liver. Now, the most important thing about having this technology is all those people that drink themselves to death and have liver damage, guess what? They get a new 3D printed liver, right? All those people who smoke a bunch of cigarettes and get a new lung because it's been 3D printed, guess what? They no longer have to take responsibility for their actions. Therefore, before this healthcare technology is released to the public, we need to be at a place where we are all taking a lot of responsibility for our actions, okay? Super important. What else did I want to say? Oh yeah, the other thing too is we're going to see a huge, massive shift in genetic manipulation. To be honest, I'm a little bit weary about this because giving humans the ability to choose our genetic predispositions is a little bit scary. Like we're kind of playing God, but to be honest, we were God anyway. We chose, you know, if you were going to be disabled, you chose that body. If you were going to be, you know, whatever, you had some sort of disorder, you chose that situation. So I don't know, it's like overriding our original choices. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know how I feel about that, but we're going to see a huge uptick in genetic modification. Please be aware of that. Yeah, just be aware of that. Okay, cool. Yeah, but the other thing too is, you know, we can all be healthy with these genetic modifications. Anyway, the other thing too is we're going to have mass cosmic disclosure. Yes! Bring on the aliens. We are going to have huge declassified documents. We're going to have the Pentagon. I think it's called Pentagon. Pentagram? No, I don't know. I think it's the Pentagon. Anyway, we're going to have them disclosing a mass amount of, you know, alien files and UFO files and hopefully, for sure, I want to say that in the next 4 years, the government at a global level is going to come out and say, all right, aliens are real. And it's going to scare the shit out of people who are not awakened. And hopefully by that point, there's a very small percentage of people that are going to be scared with this truth and knowledge and information. Okay? But massive cosmic disclosure definitely coming our way. And it's not going to come in the form that you think it is. So there's not going to be a huge fleet of ships and, you know, they come down and they make visits and there's alien sightings everywhere, but it's not going to be a global disclosure that way because it's a little bit too intimidating. Okay. So just, it's going to be an easy disclosure. All right. And then the last thing that really came to me too, when I was taking a look at what are the tangible effects of the fifth dimension frequency and this new earth paradigm. And another thing that came, which was really interesting, is dietary change. There's going to be a lot of changes to the meat industry. That's what came to me. And I don't know if it's like all of these supplement meats or whatever, like the Impossible Burger, or I don't know what the other ones are. There's a whole bunch of them that I know them all, but yeah, anyway. So there's going to be a huge dietary change on the planet. Also, the way that farming is done is going to be very different as well. It's not going to be done in fields anymore. It's going to be done with high-tech hydroponics indoors, okay? So we're going to see massive amounts of change to pretty much every single sector of this entire planet in the next 4 years. But guys, we have to have a collapse. We have to have a collapse before we have a rebirth. We need to collapse the traditional religious structures on the planet. We need to do that because half of our wars are being fought around freaking religion, which is so 3D of us. We need to collapse the 3D paradigm in order to ascend into the 5D paradigm, okay? The last thing I want to mention is we're going to all experience an internal vibrational change. And if all of you are like, what does 5D look like? What does the new planet look like? It looks like this, okay? It looks like this. You're still going to be in the same body. You're still going to have the same, you know, kind of paradigm. Oh yeah, one more thing. With the financial industry shifting, I believe that there is going to be something, don't quote me on this, all right? Take it or leave it, but I believe that there's going to be something along the lines of each one of us on the entire planet is going to get a monthly wage, okay? And what that means is that we no longer have to be stuck within the paradigm of the 9 to 5. I'm just going to leave it at that, but I want to say that we're going to be financially liberated, and I do believe that that's going to come in our lifetime. Hopefully it comes in the next 4 years. If not, that's okay too, but that's where we're going, okay? But yeah, we're all going to have an internal vibrational change. All of you are going to be more psychic. All of you are going to be more intuitive. All of you are already quantum beings of light. And it's an important time to step into your power. Okay? Please share this video as much as possible. People need to know that this is happening. People need to know that this is a really positive thing on the planet. And this information needs to get out there. So I really appreciate each and every one of you for being here, for finding this channel, for finding your truth, because I am just a mere reflection of you. I'm basically just one step ahead of you. All of you are going to be here soon enough, and you're not going to need me at all. And that's the time that I'm waiting for, because I know that each of you have the capacity, the ability, and the power to connect infinitely to this new 5D planet. Thank you all so much for being here. I love you